Hello and welcome to The Regulars. I'm Stacey McGonigal.
My name is Jason DeRoss.
Wow, you were really loud today. You really screamed into that mic. We're here. We're in our basketball or little baseball cards. Well, basketball cards today. Welcome to the podcast. I was worried for a second because I checked like the stream and it said no one was here, and I had sent a message, and usually we have our crew being like, hello, hello. I think it was a glitch on my end.
Yeah, there's a few people. Shayla's saying that she has a soft headphone day going on.
Oh, yeah. You might want to turn down your mic, Jay, because it sounds like you're blowing it out. I don't know what
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. But anyways, friends, we are joined today by a lovely guest, and not just my radical top knot.
How's that?
It's way better, actually. Thank you for being professional and showing up today in the way that I needed you to. Thumbs up.
In what sense?
Anyways, let's put the glasses on because we've decided to come correct today because we have our guest of guests here to talk about our favorite thing here on the podcast and to talk about life. Shall you do the introduction or shall I? He is a friend.
He is a star of Bit Players.
And creator of Bit Players.
He is a Second City alumni.
He is a friend to us. He is on every goddamn live stream comedy show you can imagine. He's also joining us in our new thing, which we'll talk about people. If you know him, you love him. Everyone, give it up for our lovely, lovely lover, Nigel Downer. Nigel is here. Oh my God, you've come. Your look is, I love it.
I mean, we're going to talk ball, right? Like, let's
I'm ready.
go.
Oh, I'm ready. You know me. Yeah, you know me. I'm ready to talk ball right now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
I was trying to figure out what Jameson said, but now I understand. You got a Batman themed na hat and
Nice. I love it.
Nigel, how are you?
Man,
You're so busy. I was just telling you.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm surviving. I mean, the last couple weeks. Listen. I'm gonna preface it with this, and usually that's not my jam, but
okay,
this is a good type of busy, I suppose, like a good type of stress. I'm getting work and I'm writing and I'm performing and things are happening. There's a new show. We can talk about later, but there's a new show that Second City has put on with their online, with all their other online shows, their online programming. I'm a part of that, which is a weekly thing. We got a new thing coming up that Stacey and Jay are going to talk about that I'm also involved in. It's just a lot. I just did a video for TO Live, which is the theater community, and they just wanted to see, just in their living room. So I shot that. So it's, I had a couple auditions.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Well, you know what? It's well-deserved. And I mean, yes, you're all over the place. I will tell you, follow Nigel because, and also Jan says nice product placement. Jason, what are you drinking? What are you promoting? Can we have some money?
I realized as I did
Jason,
it, he goes,
you're
I'm
so
ready to show at Second
loud.
City.
Are you hearing this?
What did I do? I've changed nothing.
I know, but it's so loud. Am I the only one?
No, there's a lot of heat coming off the mic, dude. There's a lot.
I love how he's getting mad at us, but we're just trying to help him. Sorry, Jay.
That's Stacey's version of help. She goes, "What the hell is going on here?" That's for being like step one in the instruction manual. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, well, they said, put your own oxygen mask on. So you say, my fucking shit's correct. My buddy over here, shit's not correct. So
I've changed nothing of how I do things every day, unless this gain has moved. But I don't.
Maybe Charlie, who lives
plays with it.
Plays with it.
Yeah.
So the thing, he just likes to clean it.
I love how he goes.
He gets up in the morning, he straps on a tie, and he runs and he grabs the microphone. And he goes, "I'm at work."
Does he actually?
No.
Oh.
But I don't know what he thinks work is anymore because it's like Daddy's just in his pajamas going to this other room, going to work.
Are you wearing pajama pants or are you wearing jeans? Because I'm wearing jeans. Nigel, what are you wearing? Jeans.
I'm wearing some cargo type pants.
Yeah.
I'm in my pajama pants.
Okay, well,
like, I mean, 2 of the 3 of us could go out right now.
oh,
Yeah.
on a drop of a hat. This is a small business. Okay,
I'm one of those people, because if you don't think I'm leaving my house in pajama pants, you crazy.
oh, yeah, we know that.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're going to talk about The Last Dance. We're also just going to talk about some dumb stories, general things, but let's just get into it. First of all,
Well, let's talk first about how Alistair Forbes tried to steal Nigel's role. Do you know he called us up and was like,
Yeah.
why don't I come in and talk about Last Dance?
and we laughed. We went, get out of here.
I want to address that so hard, but I also am like, why would I address it? Like, what could Alistair possibly bring to talking about a sport?
Nothing.
Unless it was the Vancouver Canucks, he's got nothing.
Or frizz golf or whatever, frolf.
Frolf.
Oh, that's right.
Frisbee
I didn't even
golf.
bring that up.
Yeah, listeners, when we had Alistair Forbes on, if obviously he sounded like a white man, but just to confirm it, he loves playing frolf, which is a game bored white men made when they're.
He loves to play. He loves to play frolf and board games.
Yes.
That's his jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also, I just want to say this, Nigel, just check your audio to make sure that it's not connected to your headphones, because I know you got a new Yeti, and I'd like you just to like experience what that feels like. But just double check, because I could be wrong. Because sometimes my mic will switch around. But yeah, he tried to come in and he was like, we want to talk about The Last Dance, and we were like, absolutely not. This isn't for you.
But he did try to scoop it in every segment he possibly could. Knowing Alistair, he would try to lead it towards Michael Jordan and Last Dance.
Also, I do want to say this while Nigel's checking everything, but like, I forgot that, Jason, it is 9:30 in the morning for you.
It's 9:30 in the morning, and I've been up with my son since 6:30. So like, there's not a lot of time to change into jeans at this point.
Yeah,
You've been
like
crushing it today.
Yeah, crushing it.
There's a lot to do in those 3 hours leading up to this.
Can I ask you a question? When Charlie wakes up, like, and I'm just saying this as someone who doesn't have kids, you know, and if a kid goes like, "Good morning," do you go, no, not for you. Go back into your room.
We have rules, and it's but like by 7 o'clock, you don't as a parent, you don't go back to bed. It's 7. That's when you're supposed to, like a normal person.
Oh no, I meant 7, but I thought like if he woke up and it was 5 in the morning and he's fine, he's not sick, it's not a special day, he's just like, "Good morning." Do you go, "No, it's not"? Go back to your room.
I don't go as I don't go like Stacey's mom. Okay, time's up. Go back to bed. But we will like, okay, buddy, look outside. Sun's not up yet.
Oh,
so,
you do that.
Like kind of.
Right. My mom would just go, "No, hell no, hell no for you."
Hey, at least your parents gave you words. My parents for sure were just like, and just kiss her teeth, and that was it. Is that, "Hey, let's go do some." Okay, and then just gone.
Just that slow back away.
Yeah, just close the door.
Homer Simpson back into the grass. Jetpack.
I had one friend when I was a kid. I showed up at his house at like Sunday morning at like 11 a.m. and his dad opened the door and goes, "Hell no."
You weren't welcomed.
He goes, "Before noon on a weekend? Hell no."
Oh yeah, you're also a creepy kid. What are you doing? Get away! Leave them alone.
Could you make him out and play? Hell no.
I
Tell
also
that kid never to come around here again.
Yeah, that's it. Immediately blacklisted. It's all it takes. All it takes.
I love the gall of your parents too, Jay, of just being like, "Yeah, go over to his house. Yeah, go see what happens. Get out of here."
My parents weren't like watching over me that much probably at that point. I was just like, "Cool, out of here." Get on a skateboard, flip my hair, and get out of here.
Oh my God. Jan says she's feeling very protective of you today, Jason.
Thank you, Jan. My guardian angel.
Oh my
Swan
God. You're unreal.
I need it.
Are you soft today, Jay?
need
Because
it.
you just have to admit it in this house. Okay.
No. I'm not soft today. I think Stacey's on a level today. I think that's what's happened.
Ooh, that face, all those faces. Oh,
Jen, I need your protection really badly right now.
I cannot. I'm on a level.
I love what I'm into right now. I love being in the middle of this right now. This is my favorite.
I want to rewind and go back to like if in the last like how many podcasts, well, I'll go back and I'll check, but
No, you won't.
If Stacey comes on and goes, I think you're on a level today, then we talk about it. If I go, Stacey, you're on a level, this was the reaction I get.
Yeah.
Just
and you know what? Botting's in the chat, who I love. And I was on the this is the thing. I just called Botting out of the blue this morning. She answered. That's a friend.
And she's protective of Stacey today. She's your guardian angel.
She's my guardian angel today. But no, I'm not on a level, but I'm feeling the quarantine today. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like I woke up and I need to go grocery shop. These are champagne problems, but it's like, you know, when you're like, oh, I gotta like go do stuff, and then you're like, oh, fuck, okay. There's gonna be a line here. Do I go there because it closes at 7, and then I gotta go?
Yeah.
You know the feeling. You know, much like.
No, go ahead. You go. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say,
I was just gonna say.
Jameson said he's protecting Nigel at all costs. He goes, Nigel, I got you, bud. Thank you.
Thank you. I literally was like, oh, who's my protector?
I also thought that too.
We're in a wrestling match now, it feels like, and these are all of our managers. Now we've all got managers in our corner.
Valets.
Shout out to Dennis Rodman, who went to a wrestling match after the game, but we'll get into it. I'm just
Nigel's like, guys, you brought me here to talk about Last Dance.
No. I'm gonna add to what you're saying, Stacey. I feel like not last week, but the week before, I had a really soft week. Like the whole week, I just felt, I was like, oh, it really clobbered me right in the face, like quarantine. And then on Monday, which was the long weekend.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Whatever that is now. Because it was gray outside and it was kind of raining all day, but not fully raining. Like that was the worst. Like I had shit to do and I didn't want to do any of it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's been days. I feel you kids on that. I feel you kids.
It's nuts. And you know what? We can get into the Last Dance because I'll tell you this. I have a pit in my stomach over the state of Dennis Rodman, and he's not a good person. We know that. And I know that in a global sense. I know like the North Korea thing, it's all messed up. But I feel like no one is taking care of him, that we need to protect him.
Well, I mean, like Nigel's our guest. So Nigel, what do you feel about that sort of statement that he's not a nice person, and 2, we need to protect him?
No, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think I don't think he's not a nice person.
Right.
I just think he has his own agenda, his own vision. And when I say agenda, there's no like master plan with Dennis Rodman, so we can all tell. Like it's just, I think he just is an agent of chaos. You know what I mean? And that's just the way he just personified that so much when he got to, when he tripped out, shaved his hair, dyed it, and went to the Spurs after the bad boy years, and it just inflated after that. And then once Madonna got a hold of him, it was a wrap. And I think he's just inflated that, and now it's something that's just too big to contain. Like his trips to North Korea.
Yeah, right. Isn't it North Korea?
Yeah,
that whole thing was wild. Like just
it's nuts.
Next level. Yeah.
I don't think anyone was around. And this is the thing. I think he's like, and again, I want to preface this that I've just watched this documentary and then I was like, whoa, me too. I'll talk about this. I know nothing. Okay. So please stop me and correct me. But like him leaving to go to WWE was so sad to me. I've thought about it since. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I watched it. And it just so deeply made me sad because I was like, no one's there to protect him. No one's there to go like, what are you doing? Carmen Electra's like, he made a little detour. I'm like, get out of here,
Carmen. I'm seeing it through a different lens. Because like, I loved it all. I thought this guy is a child who never grew up and never had to grow up. Like this guy's Peter Pan.
He lived outside.
He's literally like, what's that?
He lived outside.
Yeah.
But he's also Neverland. And then like he would also like he would take off and be like the WWF thing to me. I was like, I think that's beautiful. I think it's like this guy's got this disposable income to do it. He's got no responsibility.
Not anymore.
No kids, he's got no wife.
Not anymore.
That's fair. Like it's too bad that he didn't have to learn responsibility apparently at any point because it does feel like he got thrown into the NBA. And he was still a child, and he just had a childlike innocence and not a childlike whatever else. So then Chuck Daly on the Pistons kind of became his dad, But then it's like, oh, you're getting traded, which means you're getting out of the house. You're a teenager. Get the hell out of here. And then he went and dyed his hair. He's like, fuck it, I'm a teenager. And he took on this persona of like, fuck everything, like a teenager. And now he just hasn't grown up. He's just like, he never had that learning thing to be like, also, but I love that. Like, he's a free spirit, essentially. He's not what when you say the word free spirit, you don't go, oh, Dennis Rodman, but like I go Dennis Rodman.
Oh no, I think he's a free spirit. And I love Ashley Botting. I love Botting's comment in the chat. I love how Madonna was like, hey, you should be weirder, dude.
It was almost like verbatim, just like he was just going, okay.
Yo, sick.
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds good.
Yo, sick.
Yeah.
But see, like he was just looking for direction.
I know, but I just see him in his.
But that's the person's hands we put him into.
I just see him in his pajama pants at WWE, and I go, okay, what's going on here? What's going on? But,
I think, listen, that was a slick move. Like you just played, was it game 5?
5, yeah. No, was it 4?
Yeah.
Because then he came back for 5.
He tips really well.
Does he have any money? I know these net worth things on the internet aren't real because it says I have $6 million and I say who, what, where on that. But it says he has 500. His net worth is $500,000, which is still a lot of money, but it's not Jordan money.
Yeah, game 3. It was game 3.
Oh, it was game 3. Okay.
Yeah, it was after game 3.
And then he comes back and crushes. Like I was like.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen? Okay, what is the? I know you can swear on this podcast.
Oh my God, yes, please. We're not monetized.
Okay. Have you guys seen the video? It's on YouTube, and I think it came out with Vice. Pretty sure it came with Vice. And Dennis Rodman tells 3 stories about the 3 times he broke his dick.
What?
I'm not lying. If you Google it, Dennis Rodman breaks dick story, and it's all animated and tripped out because he's like high most of the time and drunk or whatever, and he tells a story. So it's just animated. And it's just like colors and rainbows. And he talks about the 3 times, I think it's 3, that he broke his dick. It's wild. It is wild.
Can you remember one way?
Yeah, 100%. I've watched the thing like 5 or 6 times over the years.
Can you remember all 3 ways?
I think I can remember 2. I'll tell you one because I can remember for sure. So he takes this, obviously they're all after a game and he's partying hard. He's doing his thing or whatever. So he has this one girl back at his hotel and it's like one of those, I think he described as one of those like, themed rooms or whatever. So she's in the hotel room.
Right.
He gets naked. She gets naked.
Hell yeah.
And then he's like, I can't remember who dared who, but he said, yo, I'm going to jump. I think she says to him, I'm going to jump on your dick. Like I'm going to run across the room and I'm going to jump onto your dick.
No.
Dennis Rodman being the guy, he's like, yeah.
He's a teenager. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Just,
so the animated thing is of this girl running like this towards the camera.
That's insane.
And just Dennis Rodman just shows like his legs, and then like I think it's blurred out like who her dick is, and then she just jumps, and then he's like, and then I heard it again, crack, and then you just see like just a rainbow flurry of colors.
Oh, so this wasn't the first time because he said again.
I think so, yeah. I can't remember in which order it is.
If you've already broke your dick once, you'd think you'd have that sense memory to be like, you're going to do what?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, 3 times. I'm pretty sure it's 3 times. It's a short video. It's only like, I think it's like 2.5 minutes or something.
This is our problem, I think, with our podcast, Jason. We don't have Rodman's broken dick energy where he's like, I've done it once. I'll do it again. Well, that's what we need. We need broken dick energy.
I think Nigel was polite and asked us, can I swear on this? Then he didn't swear, but he told a broken dick story.
I mean, because I was trying to get to, I was like, can I talk about this? I don't know. I just want to see what the barometer was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to follow up with Haley going, he tips really well. I don't know. He came in with a bunch of cash and kind of threw it. I mean, that makes sense. That tracks for me.
See, no direction. He's probably like, math, fuck this. Here, take this. Man.
That's on brand for sure. It's on brand.
There's something about my heart that there's 2 things that broke me from this documentary. Okay. And one thing that built me up, and that's my love for Pippen. Okay. So he's such an asshole. And I was like, oh baby, let me fix you for Pippen. Pippen's like full, like I'm not playing anyways. Michael Jordan crying ruined me when he cried, when they said he was mean. It hurt his feelings.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. We're moving topics.
No. I want to stay on Rodman, but I'm saying the thing.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Would you like to?
We're transferring into Last Dance if you want to make a.
Yeah.
We're transferring to Last Dance. Okay, please.
Yeah, please hold.
Please. Here we go. Okay, thank you.
I want to know the theme rooms that he was talking about. Like now I'm like, what was the theme of the room? I love those places. Not that I've ever been in one, but I'm like,
What
theme
do you mean?
room.
A theme room?
He said Dennis Rodman was in one of those hotels where it's like a themed room or whatever.
Oh.
Great.
Look.
I was like, he's sitting
1.
back a bit further from the camera today. So today's not hats, it's shirts.
I'm gonna switch it up. There's a theme
I love
today,
it. There's
baby.
a theme. Okay, well, I'm getting your screen ready because there's going to be a video for sure, and you can follow that at the Regulars podcast where I dip my toe in some Premiere, Adobe Premiere for my boy Nige.
On top of this, Nigel left obviously camera to go switch some shirts, but you have a very reflective picture in the background, so you basically just changed in front of us anyways. So.
It's the frame for okay, now I know
Don't
how
ruin the
go.
gift. Don't ruin the gift that is Nigel. He works out very hard. Let's have a look. He's my friend.
I'll switch that up, man. I'll switch that up.
Oh, hell yeah. So let's get into it. So I will say that as someone who doesn't watch basketball, I will say it's a great documentary. Like I thought it was great. I think it held everyone to sort of the fire. It doesn't really paint Jordan. It changed. You know what I mean? I don't think it was like.
It paints Jordan the way Jordan wants to be painted, I think.
You think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it goes, it literally only goes as far as him and his people will let it go. Like
I think Jordan signed off on every single minute of that.
I know, but I also don't think, like, as someone who doesn't know, like, I don't know it how you all know it, but I will say that I was left going, oh, he wasn't perfect by any means. And not that that's justified. And I'm like, oh, he got into some shady dealings. Like, I think you can go from there if you didn't know the story.
It depends on what you mean by shady dealings. Like, I think he admits fully to being like a gambler, but like without a problem. So he's like, yeah, I gamble. Like, that's what I do. I golf and I gamble. But the shady thing, like being an asshole and being whatever, I don't think that he, like you say, he cries at the end about it, but I don't feel like he feels any way about it. He's like, I'm the best.
I disagree with you. I think it hurt his feelings when everyone was like, he's mean. And I think he was like, he wanted to win at all costs. And I also don't think, for me, watching it, that there was a takeaway of like he didn't have a problem with gambling and he didn't have a problem with drinking. I think that's very clear that he struggled with both of those because they talk about it. Was he hungover with the flu gate? Was he just like so wasted and got fucked up?
Oh no, he wasn't a drinker back then.
It says that he was. That's what they said in the doc. That they thought he was drinking back then. They thought he was hungover. He was when he had that pizza.
Yeah, those are all myths. Those are all, I mean, look, as far as we know, they were all debunked, and it was just like, you know, that whole thing, that Pizzagate, like that, the flu game, that's wild to think of. Like, he had 5 guys deliver this pizza to his hotel room.
I'm not eating that.
Yeah, I'm not eating that either. And also, I mean, what's up, Utah? Like, you've got everything closed. This is the late 90s, and everything's closed by 10 p.m.
But it was like suburban. It was like suburbia. It wasn't like, they said it was in downtown Salt Lake, which even downtown Salt Lake, which I don't know. I don't think that's like a raging.
I went. Yeah, it's tiny, and it's like it feels like a community. Like it feels like everybody here is like that blonde lady yelling at the court. Like they're all that person.
Oh my God, that blonde lady. Whoa.
That was Charlie's favorite character.
Well,
but when I say favorite, he goes, "Why is she yelling? Why is she so mad?"
Like, so mad.
This is why Charlie doesn't like. This is why Charlie doesn't like me at all. Who's that redheaded lady with roots yelling at daddy about a small business? Time. Yeah.
I mean, I like the vintage strip, but
my vintage strip. Check me outside. Yeah, I thought like, I mean, first of all, we're gonna jump around, everyone. This is just what's gonna happen. If me, Stacy, right now, 5 people showed up to deliver this pizza, I go, take that away. I don't know. I don't like what's happening here. This is too many
because
people.
They weren't just like, it wasn't like 5 guys delivering pizza. It was 5 guys going like this. You can eat that.
Here's your pizza, dude. Why don't you take a bite?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Now Nigel got me onto Jalen and Jacoby, and I was watching my boys, you know, and they said they were talking to, I think, the director. Wasn't it the Clippers?
Yeah, each episode they've talked to the director. Yeah.
And he said that he spit on the pizza.
Yeah. I've nothing
okay,
else
but
to...
if that's a true story,
Because
then how does Jordan go? I'm going to eat that.
Because the story is everyone ordered dinner and they didn't wait for Jordan. And he was pissed that they didn't wait for him. So then the trainer found this pizza place. They ordered the pizza. And then he was like, fuck all of you. This is my pizza, and spit on it.
That's
he spit on his own pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's fine too. But you're not going to get sick from spitting on your own pizza.
Right. Now, I have barf from pizza, so I relate to this story. Obviously, I relate to Jordan for this. I did eat pizza before a Second City show, and then I barfed my whole life out for a whole night from a pizza. And I'll never eat from that place ever again.
Yo, that was somebody from a different theater, man, just trying to wreck you up for that show.
Yeah, it was the cast from Come From Away. They knew my skill. And fuck them. They know exactly who they are.
Names? What pizza
Kevin
joint
Vidal.
is this?
No, I'm kidding. No, not Kevin Vidal.
What pizza?
No, I'm not naming. I'm not doing that. What if they want to give me money down the line?
They won't.
They won't.
Chances are slim. Chances are
slim. Yeah. So, anyways, but I just thought I don't think that for me as a viewer who's very naive compared to you, Nige and Jay, I feel like he was certainly not a perfect figure, and you could tell that he has a lot of demons that he fights.
I don't think that there was ever like this is the whole thing with celebrity and sports figures and things like that. It's like we nitpick at the tiny things, and not all things are tiny that some of these guys do, but they'll go under magnifying glasses. So it's like, and we've talked about this before, how like I drank with that one guy, and then the next day in the paper they're like, he's a drunk, and I was like, okay, well, he had a drink. So it's like we put them under these microscopes and go, well, your problems are huge problems. And he still is a person, so he's not perfect. But I don't think he ever said that he was perfect.
No.
People are getting mad about the bullying aspect of this. And
Please.
I'm like,
I don't care.
Maybe, sure. I'm not one to like go, yay, bully. But when you're the best in the world at a sport during like the 80s and the 90s, especially during that time when you just come out of the bad boys era, it's like, well, you probably had to like flex a little bit or else you ain't winning.
Listen, man, bottom line, I think to be an elite athlete, unless you have that kind of that quiet leadership, just to name somebody specifically, which is like, very quiet, but he leads by example. Unless you have that, you're going to have an ego. You're going to bully. I don't think it's really bullying if you're winning championships with these other dudes that are contributors and they know their place. They know they know their place. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have an athlete that supreme, who just knows what's up, and you can see him running the game or see her running the game, what else are you going to do? Just jump along for the ride and know your role. That's the best part you can do, is know your role. And truth be told, when I jumped on board with Second City, Dross when I met you, and then later on Stacey when I met you, I think some of our most successful shows were the shows where we just knew who we were and what we brought to the performance. You know what I mean?
1,000%. 1,000%.
And I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing. You just know somebody's going to be the leader, and we're just all going to sit back and be like, great, now how can I contribute? How can I help?
Exactly.
He's going to be like that.
Yeah. What am I going to do? So let's just say Jan Caruana starts doing an improv scene. What am I? I'm going to take over? Yeah, right. What? I'm going to hold on for dear life and hope she like throws me a gift. And thankfully she's the most beautiful woman alive, and she'll throw you many. But it's you have to know. And like, I didn't think it was, I also thought like the people who were like, he was mean, were the people who were like, had some sort of vendetta or was like, what projected a lot onto him. I don't think he was nice, but like, why should he be? He was the best one. Who was going to challenge him? Who was going to challenge him on that team? Well, nobody. So he was like, well, rise up to me then.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I found most interesting about this documentary, or one of the things I found most interesting, was he's got that sort of thing, and he created beefs wherever. Like, I definitely want to do a sketch of Jordan just being like, he gets a sub at Subway and it's all fine, but he has to find a way to like
be mad. He's
like, now it's personal. Just like, for some fucking reason, everything like now it's personal, and some of them he made up, which you're like, what?
Not but some, dude.
Many.
But in the end, there was like great basketball players, like but there was great basketball players like Reggie Miller and stuff that were just like, I wish we were still friends. Like there was so many people that it seemed like he became a god to gods of basketball. And it was like, I can't be friends with. That's what it felt
But
like. It was like,
how can you be normal? And this is my question to you guys. Like how is he supposed to be like empathetic and understanding when he truly had that entire franchise on his back in his mind? Because like he was a godlike figure. This
wasn't in his mind.
No, I know it wasn't in his mind. And this is like without social media, without anything. It's like he had that on his shoulders. So like, I mean, if any of us felt that we had that pressure on our shoulders, like I can't even imagine the choices I would make. I can't believe the choices I've made, and I have nothing riding on me. But I'm like, I need this to succeed.
Stakes are so low.
Stakes are so low. And I'm like, don't you fucking ever talk to me again. Now, when I say this line, you fart on cue, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, we do sketch. And you're just like, this needs to succeed. So I'm like, how can he be understanding and take a break when he has so many stakes? Like, everything has stakes.
How many times does that happen in our job when we all looked at each other? Because I remember the line being like, can you guys believe this is our job? When you say something, it'd be like, we're literally discussing like where the fart falls. And
Yeah.
we're having like a board meeting basically. We're like, great. So,
Or you get mad and you'd go, Jason's being such a fucking idiot. He says he doesn't have enough time to put on the wig.
He'll find the time. He always makes the time, and he wanted to put on the wig in the first place.
100%. His sketches, we
trying
all
to
got to figure it out.
But do I place the fart before the wig or after the wig, guys? Let's get down to brass tacks. The guys from upstairs are coming in today. We got to let them know.
It's like
when
that
do
scene.
We put the fart?
It's like that scene that started between Nigel and I. It was just about me dancing and flirting with him, and Jason was standing there in the middle, just as an extra person, and thought, I'm going to pretend to murder a woman in the middle of the scene.
Mm-hmm. How do you think we should murder this woman in the middle of a dance club and make it so that it's not aggressive?
Jason?
And in the show. Perfect.
Yeah. Jason, do not touch that pen for the rest of this podcast.
What's that?
I can't.
Is my mic picking this up?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Yeti.
We got in a real fight once because he had a clicky pen, and for 2 days I was like, where is this clicking coming from? And then all of a sudden Jason just raised his hand one day. It was clicking and I go, that was you? And I was like, burn that pen. Anyways, now do you feel like Pippen was what did you think about Pippen not wanting to play, throwing a little hissy fit?
I don't know. I feel like it was a sign of the times, man. It was just like
ego.
Yeah, for sure. Like he was like huge ego because he was trying to be the man at the time.
Yeah.
Jordan was around, so he was trying to be the guy, and he just wasn't the guy. And I mean, but the fascinating part too was that who made the shot? Oh, Kukoc, right?
Kukoc, yeah. Kukoc.
Yeah.
Made the shot, and then in the change room, Pippen's like, listen, I think Cartwright was the one to be like, okay, look, everybody just chill out.
He'd had it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then they all had the thing, they all talked about it,
cried about it,
and moved on,
That's the thing. It's like, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say it was like, it brought like a humanity. All of this brings like humanity to these sports bettors because it's like, we've all been there with these like petty moments one time where we're like, we took a suck or something where it's just like, but I just be doing that. And then, but it's again, under this magnifying glass of like, well, the world's watching and you only have a second to react, get on that court or not. And you pull a suck, but then like 2 minutes later, you're like, oh, why did I do that?
100%. We've all done it. Like when Jordan was like, he'll never live that down. That's a stain on his career. And I was like, relax.
That's the kind of thing that goes through his mind and puts his perspective of like every game he was like, I need to build this up and like murder everybody. And that's why he had to build things up. Like that guy said good game to me last time when he didn't even say good game. And on top of it, saying good game is not trash talk.
No, but I think it was like good game, Mike, with his like arm around him. Like I think he probably was in the shower
but
going.
It didn't even happen. So
I know
that didn't even happen.
But
so he was just like.
Do you ever have those? But do you ever have those conversations in your head where like either like you've failed at something or something's happened, and then you just imagine like what maybe because I'm crazy, but you imagine like what that argument would be like, or what their reaction would probably be, or do you ever have like the shower argument where you're like? Yeah, but it's like I feel like Jordan was like
every minute of every day.
I'd like to know.
Jason was gonna come in there.
Yeah, I would like to know Jason's argument with me.
If you don't
from
think
to
that
the
I
shower.
walk around thinking that everybody thinks the worst of me, and I
Okay,
have those
Jason,
conversations
you're
in
screaming.
my head.
You're screaming into your mic again.
Yes.
Pump the brakes.
This is my head and the inside of my head coming into this mic. That's what's happening.
Ah! Ah!
Let me out! Let me out!
The one time Jason really yelled at me, I just put the phone down, put it on speaker, and I just let him blow. He really gave it to me. You were outside.
The big earthquake's coming.
Oh, it did. And it came, and I just went, but it was the first time that I listened to someone yell at me, and I just went, let him. That's okay. I'll take it. That's okay.
Did you go and make craft dinner or something? What'd you do?
Yeah, but I knit a scarf.
The funny thing is, like, this is
You
how
don't
true
think
this is.
You don't think? It was like something just he really blew up. I deserved it.
I know the exact conversation she's talking about. It was years ago when I was standing outside of a second city. So I know exactly what you're talking about, which just literally happened once.
I know. You've only yelled at me once, and I just let you yell at me. I deserved it. As much shit as I give him, that's years built up. I was like, let him blow. I think there's one brewing. I think there's one coming maybe in a couple of months. And again, phone down, go make some dinner. Let him go. But I think that this docu-series is also interesting because it's like, it also shows like how tough they all felt like they needed to be, but like how soft, like them going, you shouldn't have quit on us, which was essentially what that conversation was. And them, all those men, even to this day being like, he hurt us so deeply. He wasn't with us. Like how important that bond was. Like you can't, like it's high stakes. Again, I keep saying that, but I was like, wow, like so much is on the line for these guys.
What's hilarious is that Tony Kukoc, and you see it in this, walked into it and knew nothing about sports. It feels like
no idea. Yeah,
he's like, "What's happening here? Why are they?"
He sounds
Why
like
is everybody mad?
He sounds like a Bond villain. He's like, "What? Okay, they were Zeds. Okay, what are you gonna do?" Like
he's the bad guy in Barry. He's like the
100% the bad guy for Barry. And the way that they shot him was like crotch up. Like he was just kind of leaned back. He was just
he's got a weird kind of body though. I mean,
yeah, they hate me. What am I gonna do? They don't like me. Okay, they don't like me.
And I played bad that game. I played bad, but
okay, what am I gonna do? Yeah,
it's just basketball.
He doesn't give a shit.
I'm gonna go home. I'm going to eat, and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah. I like my wife, my kids. Okay, Jordan, he mad. Okay, terrible accent.
Yeah, I sound like Mario there.
I know, me too. Okay, I just sound like my friend Nadine. I thought he said Mario, like Mario Kart. Woohoo!
He did, but you sound more like a vampire.
Me? Oh yeah, I sound like my friend Nadine. She'll be on the podcast. You'll hear it. It's undeniable. Okay.
Oh, right,
yeah. Kukoc was crazy. And what was that? The guy who punched Jordan.
Reggie Miller?
No. The white guy.
Oh, Steve Kerr?
Yeah.
No, Steve Kerr got punched by Reggie. By
no,
Jordan.
He punched him in the chest, which I just thought was
in the chest. Yeah.
Because I guess
wow, we getting into the Steve Kerr story, huh? Please hold.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what we got to do here. Okay. You
see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's dancing for I love it. Okay, and what's gonna happen here? And it's
now
on.
I'm thinking that was strategically placed.
Oh hell yeah!
He knew it the whole time.
Whoa, Nige, that's a great shirt. Yes, I can't tell you.
Right here.
I can't tell you how rich you look. Cupcakes. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about this shirt real quick.
Please.
This is by a guy named Johnny Cupcakes. It's his company. He is based out of Boston, Massachusetts, Boston, Mass. And his stuff is very exclusive, very hot. Like he makes X amount of shirts and then that's it. So if they're gone. Yeah, it's I've been following him for years. And so when the Raptors won, he came out with this championship shirt. I bought like 4 of them because I just wanted to make sure I had some. And during this quarantine, believe it or not, I reached out to him via Instagram. He was on IG. He was doing a live thing, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll just request to see if to see if he'll pick up, and he picked up. So I chatted with him about and I showed him this shirt, and he lost his mind. He's like, he loves this shirt. He's like, this one came out so well. He's really
Whoa.
Excited about it. It was cool. It's cool.
Haley, I guess, is a fan. She just said, yeah, she's into it. Johnny Cupcakes.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
His stuff is sick.
I'm not following you in this journey because you brought me into the threadless world a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, but this is the kind of thing I'd be like, oh, they're out of my size. I guess I'll just get a different size. And I would have a closet full of ones that are too small and too big, and I'd wear them. And then that's what I would do.
Why would you do?
Why would he do that?
Why would you do that, man?
Why do you think he would do that? Why do you think Jason would do that?
I like this shirt.
Oh my God. Okay, so I do want to get into Kerr when the producer was like, hey, okay, well, let me backtrack first. What do we think about the death of Michael Jordan's dad? Crazy. That's crazy.
That was crazy at the time because of all the rumors. Like the rumors, those were very real. And for days you were thinking, oh my God, his gambling debts have caught up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was intense. I remember
that in real time.
Yeah, this whole docuseries, I remember a lot of these moments. I would say 85% of these moments. So it's nice to revisit it. I think a lot of the people that watched it also were in that same situation. So Stace, for you to see it for the first time with a new lens is also refreshing because I watched it the same way that I think you watched it still. It was just kind of reminders, but it was done so well.
Yeah.
But I digress. Back to his dad, when that rumor came out, people legit felt, or I should say feel, that that's a thing. That is real. How do you get to the heart of the champion? How do you do that? How do you get to this guy who's running media and changing the face of a sport and how people see the sport and the culture? Mm-hmm. I mean, kill his pops.
There's rumors. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently in his contract, because they have there was a big salary cap at the time, and the money that Michael Jordan was bringing in was more than anybody else in the league. But the money he was truly bringing into into the association was astronomical, and into Nike. So he's not getting his pieces of pie. But what happened was in his contract, apparently he put money. I don't know how to word this properly, but if he would go to somewhere like Minnesota, I think the Minnesota arena had to pay him money, which I don't think had happened before, because he's like, I'm bringing the show to you guys. You guys think you have fans without me? And
Hell
he's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, he's right.
Minnesota, nobody's going to watch a game in Minnesota.
Here's the thing. I mean, that makes me, I don't know if it's because we're Canadian or whatever, but I think people knowing their worth, it seems crazy. I, as an athlete or whatever, even if I was this huge star, I don't know if my brain would be you need to pay me for coming here. You need to, on the back end, because I know my worth. Do you know? But I'm
of course. Plus there's stuff set up that's this is the norm, and you go, okay, that's what it is. It's standardized. This is our and I'm at the he was at the top of the ball game getting paid for everybody, but he's still
I think that he should. I think that he should have done that.
He created Nike,
and also
it's insane.
And also he should have done that because at the end of the doc, the owners are well, they're old, they're gone. It's I'm sorry, I'm sorry, excuse me, what? They're what? They're they're trading cattle. Of course, then it's okay, in my prime, pay me, Houston. Hi, I'll be coming to your arena, back end money. Thank you. Hell yes, take that. I think, but
yeah,
whatever. But I just thought the story of his dad passing was it just reeks of conspiracy theories. Of course you would start thinking that, because how did they know he was taking a nap? How did these people find him in the middle of nowhere? Where did they come from? How did they know it was his car?
The story I didn't know, Nigel talks about 85%, is Steve Kerr's dad. I had no idea.
Oh, of course we're not gonna.
Never heard that story before.
We're not gonna know. That's some real inside baseball that. His dad being this elite professor and going over to the American school in Beirut, it's just. I mean,
he walked out of an elevator, and these guys that were students just pulled out a gun and was like, "Nope."
Yeah,
that's insane.
And him and Michael never talked about that.
That's crazy to me that they could have been so much closer if they had a jam about that.
I cried when Kerr was telling that. He just seems like the most gentle soul, and knows his role. Is a guy that's I know what I'm here to do. I know where my I know where I stand in this company, in this franchise. Oh, what a crazy story.
And you know what? The thing is, again, we're going to kind of jump around, but the thing is, when you're saying him knowing his role, and I've mentioned it before too, the thing that we have to take in consideration is that in the 90s and just up until about the 2000s, players were drafted based specifically on their position. Jason can speak to this a lot more, I'm sure, but it's like Kerr knew that he was a shooter. Like there was just genuine shooters, like pure shooters. Mm-hmm. And Kerr was like, cool, man, I'm just going to be inside the arc, so the 3-point line or beyond the 3-point line. That's where I live. I have no business going in for a layup unless it's a steal. And that was his thing. Sean Kemp, an elite dunker, like he dunked for almost all of his career because that's all he could do. He couldn't shoot, but anything inside
for the first 3 quarters, and then he became Marshmallow Man. But
what's Marshmallow Man?
You know what I mean?
He had a good time partying, and it showed.
Oh yeah. Okay. And then, but all I'm saying is that it comes down to knowing your position, knowing your role, and playing to it. Now in the 2000s, we've got guys that can do all of those things.
Right.
One guy can do all of them. Like Russell Westbrook can do all of those things, no problem. Which is
Russell
also
Westbrook has the heart of Jordan, and that's why I love Russell Westbrook, even though he's never going to be on a championship team.
Yeah.
Why not?
But anyway, so sorry. Back to the death thing.
Back to the death thing. No, but I just thought it was crazy. I couldn't believe that, like, they were like, and the way that the doc was like, hey, did you ever talk to Michael about your dad? And he was like, no. And then it was like, doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo. It's just tragic, heartbreaking. Like, both of them are heartbreaking stories. It's anyone having to hold that is wild.
It didn't surprise me because, like, for sure in hindsight, there's similarities. And it's like, oh, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you talk about that? But when you're in it and you're going through it, are you going to be like, hey, man, sorry, your dad passed away because of this? My dad passed away. Like the conversation, it would be very hard to just bring that up, especially with someone as unapproachable as Michael Jordan.
First of all, it's not a secret, right? Like those are like huge newsworthy. Like I'm sure everyone on the team knew about Kerr and everyone obviously knew about Jordan. Like they wouldn't have to go, hey, I get the sense, and I'd like to tell you that my dad was also like tragically murdered. Like that's crazy. I just thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, it's like all these men, like, and again, if basketball isn't your thing, I'm telling you, this doc is just like, first of all, we're in quarantine, so everything's like amazing and you salivate over it when you get something really good. But this is an incredible portrayal of like what like these men unable to, not like poor them, but like the culture of like not being emotional, but then like having, I don't know, they're unable to communicate their emotions. And that's why I thought when Jordan cried, when everyone called him mean, and he was like, how I took it, and I'd be curious how you both take it, so please answer me this. When he got really upset, I was like, okay, Jordan's way of showing love, and it's so funny because Jameson said for the love languages we talked about yesterday, he said Kerr is quality time and Michael Jordan is gifts. They're love languages. But I feel like Jordan is like his life is all about basketball because it's instant validation. Did I do good or did I do bad? I think for him, it's like black and white, really.
Well, do we remember early on in the documentary when Dennis Rodman went to his room, they lit a cigar and he's like, I guess everything's fine.
Yeah.
That's their communication.
But I think that Michael pushed these guys and bullied these guys, not to justify the behavior, but I think he pushed them and did that out of like, that was his way of like, I care. Like, this is important to me. Like, I want to see you succeed at all costs, even to the detriment of our relationship. That's how much I care about this game and you. And for them to go like, you're mean, you're a bully, you're nasty, like whatever. He's probably sitting there going, I put everything on the line. There's so many burnt bridges. And all I wanted to do was win, and we did. And you're still like, fuck this guy a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. But
yeah.
What are you guys saying?
First of all, I think that was perfect timing because Jason's mic like crapped out or something happened, but you put that sting in. Yeah, you put this sting in, and I was like, "Oh, this is serendipitous. What's happening right now is great."
I'd like to say I planned it, but I didn't. Okay, so what do you think, Nige?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's crazy to think of, man. It's just like, he did those things. Like you said, he led the team. He pushed everybody but well beyond what they were probably capable of
right
on their own, or that a coach could have given them, because the coach is on the sideline, but Jordan is on the floor with them and knows they can do better. It's like, he knows he could do it alone, but he knows he could not do it alone. You know what I mean?
This is the huge the controversial topic that it always comes up when you talk about Jordan. And like, I think I'm normally arguing against people in a little bit because you start talking about these GOAT conversations, which are terrible conversations because you can't really ever measure. You can't really measure generations against generations.
I don't know. I think I'm a goat. Anyways, continue.
But so, because you brought up a couple of things that really speak to like, I'll be very honest.
Get
Jordan was
this
not,
fucking pen out of the shot.
Jordan was not my guy in this time. Like, I was not a Jordan fan growing up. It was still basketball. I grew up loving Magic Johnson. So then Michael Jordan comes in. It's not everybody liked Michael Jordan. It was like Michael Jordan was the best, and some people wanted to beat him. And I was like there was the dunk competition against Dominique, which we won't get into, but Dominique won that competition. But then they gave it to Michael, and then Michael made a whole shoe out of it. So there's arguably like, anyways, that's not what I'm getting into. But Michael Jordan still represents that era where it's like, I built the team from the inside, and you can say, oh, well, they brought on Rodman and they brought on Harper and all this stuff. But in the first go around of three, and even in the second round go around of three, he wasn't building a team and whatever. Steve Kerr, I will say, could have been a nobody ever if he wasn't on this Bull team. So he's a role player, but like, do you know Mark Price? Probably not. But it's because Mark Price never played with Michael Jordan. Mark Price was essentially a better Steve Kerr, maybe. So it's like, but you'll never know that because.
So you're agreeing with me.
I'm even like, I'm adding on to it because I think Pippen
feels
also
like a
one of the best 50th players of all time. And I think that's because he played with Michael Jordan, because he even said at one point, he goes, I would have never pushed myself the way I was in practice with him.
This is what I'm saying. He pushed everyone.
We don't have that nowadays. Like LeBron, the argument against LeBron, and he's great and definitely a better physical specimen, and like he can do things that are unimaginable. But once you leave your team to take all of your opponents with you, like there was nobody in the East at the time, and he takes Dwayne Wade and takes Chris Bosh, so he's got no competition for 3 years in the East. It's like, well, what are you doing, man?
Wouldn't you? Like, wouldn't you?
He's not building people up, and he's not.
Who cares?
If LeBron James had a bit of like Russell Westbrook heart, or like Michael Jordan heart, or even Kobe Bryant was the one that he definitely passed the baton to. It's like, I would love LeBron James right now if he would just be like, I'm going to murder you all, but like not worry about who's on my team.
But why not worry about what's like? Here's the thing, like, and again,
that's the generation.
I also think it's like the type of person that you are. And like, I think that like my lens on this whole thing speaks volumes to like how I was raised, good or bad. But that survival mentality is just like, I sort of like, I'm not gonna say I relate to Michael Jordan, but it's like, I relate to like that, like your survival. Like if I was LeBron James, I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking all these people and let's just go destroy.
That's what he did. He took all the people that he had.
But you're
and he said,
judging it like, where's the
better.
heart? It's like, screw that, you know?
No, I think Jordan does have the heart. I think that's what I'm saying. Jordan does it, and he did take all the people. Yeah.
Also, this is unrelated, but in the chat, one of our like faithful chatters just got news that they got a job that they really wanted, and then they said, "I'm happy to be with you guys celebrating."
Hey, nice.
What a fun special moment! Is it to the NBA?
And you know what? That deserves, excuse me.
Excuse us. This is great. Congratulations. And Nigel will be bringing something very special to the mix. And, we can kind of see. Okay. I've cropped it out this time. So now, yes. I love it. You know, I'm going to start doing that when I put on t-shirts. I'm going to start dancing around, really make a show of it, you know?
I just went to the channel. Yeah.
Does that just say mission accomplished? Holy shit.
Sure does.
Oh my God, that is perfect. Congratulations on the job and congratulations on that shirt.
You know what that shirt really represents? What nobody's talking about Toronto's road to that finals was insane.
No,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it all day long. I was a what is it? Bandwagon jumper or whatever. I was like, huh?
Yeah. Listen,
They had like the toughest road to get to the finals.
and I think this is something that we should definitely jump into, man, what did you guys think? Let me ask you guys first
Yes,
before I
please.
give my input.
Ask.
Let's just jump to episode 10. This is it. This is the final episode. They play Utah, and it goes, what, six games? 6 games?
6 games.
6 games.
Because they only went 7 games twice in all of their championship runs, by the way.
Nuts.
But
Insane.
I digress. 6 games, Utah. They win it in Utah.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel, Stacey? Go.
How did I feel about the win?
Yeah, about watching that. Because we all knew it was going to happen, but how'd you feel?
Okay. I got emotional. I got teary just because, but I thought it was unbelievable. Like seeing Pippen being in so much pain and like him going to the back and getting work done, which I'm assuming they were just pumping him with steroids in his back is what I'm thinking. Right. But like
cortisone shots, like as we go or something.
Yeah. Or cortisone. Yeah. So, but I thought like Michael being like, I was exhausted. Like there's just something about when you have nothing left in the tank and that goes for anything in life. Emotionally spent, physically spent, whatever it is. And then you're just like, I have to do this. And like the reserve that he found, I don't care how where everyone sits on that. I just thought like that is so inspirational. And like Pippen being like, I have to do this. And like him being like a decoy the whole time. But like, I just was like, yeah, I just thought it was really powerful. And like, and I just thought it's like relatable in a way where it's like sometimes you just get it done. You're surprised you can do something and like, here it is. Cause that like him going, I'm going to do this for my team was nuts. That play was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Jay?
2 things.
Okay. One.
They went to a game 7 just before the finals, which I forgot. And like, this could be a very different thing. Like that whole last dance, the way Phil set it up and everything. I mean, I'm sure everybody sets it up like they think they're going to win the championship, but this might have not happened in history. And that's what's so great about sports sometimes. But 2, Michael Jordan gets pushed at one point for like a game winner or something. And it was fun I watched it. He didn't turn to the ref and be like, whatever. Like this was the generation where it was like, if you got pushed, you didn't turn to the ref and go, whatever. Where nowadays, like everything's just talking to the ref after every shot. So it made my heart glow because then I was like, but he's going to win the last game, his last shot by pushing Byron Russell. And then
he didn't push him.
That's the whole thing. In history, I always remember it because that was a big question for a long time. And then when I watched this, I was like, he didn't push him.
Right.
That wasn't a push at all. That was like, I think even someone said it was like pushing like a card out of the way or something like that.
He was already
Bob
falling.
Costas, and he said that it was like a server sending somebody to their table. Like,
yes. And I was like, but watching, I was like, I didn't remember that part. I remember in history, I was like, he pushed Brian Russell. I even have I gave my brother a picture one year for his birthday of like that frame shot. And I was like, but we all know he pushed him. But now it's like, he didn't push him.
No.
Which is insane.
Yeah, he didn't push him at all. I'm saying
I know
that,
we can say that because like we watched the documentary, but like at the time, everyone was like, especially people that were Jordan haters were like, fucking guy has to push him to win the whole thing. Like it was a big thing at the time.
People are stupid. That was a huge takeaway too of like, but it's
people are stupid. That's the huge takeaway.
No, no, I think the takeaway from the thing was like how much lore was around Jordan and how much it was debunked to be really nothing. Now, again, this could be, like you said, Jordan's camp wanting it to look a certain way, but it seemed like, and from all the recaps I'm watching, because like, I like to do my research, they're going, it was nothing more than this. And everyone else is left to like, and I think it's because there wasn't social media. There wasn't like freaking TikTok or whatever, Facebook. So
it's also a documentary, so they had to sensationalize some things. Like even
I don't think they needed to.
No, not the whole thing. But I'm saying like some of the stories were like, because again, like Pippen taking time off, that was like a whole episode on that when he went to get surgery. But I'm like, during that season, I don't think it was that big of a deal.
Right.
I know, like that. What that wasn't
made a little bit of a
maybe I'm
meal
wrong in
out
not
of it.
remembering it, but it didn't seem like that was a huge thing.
What did you think, Nige?
Yeah. Listen, this is why I've been wearing all the championship shirts, because we now share. Okay, not to the extent. However, we're all Michael Jordan. Yes, we all now share Michael Jordan's story. We are all champions, like Toronto, Canada. Like we are a champion, and I think that heart and that drive and those feelings, man. Like I almost, Stace, 100%. I almost cried as well, and I watched it twice. I watched episode 9 and 10 twice in the last 24 hours because that feeling, man. Like I remember where I was when we won. I remember going down King and taking photos when we won, and I've never felt so connected to the city and to sports fans and to random people that I've never met before. Mm-hmm. There's been maybe twice. There's been maybe 2 times this happened. One when we wrote Meaning of Life, and then the other time when we won the championship. Because it was so wicked. And then to think through the lens, hey, how did the Raptors feel? I know there's a doc called Northern Uprising. You can find it on YouTube and watch it. But like how the Raptors must have felt when they finally did it, you know what I mean? Again, it's a different story, but it's still at the end of the day, hoisting that Larry O.B., you know what I mean? I was just elated, man. It's just such a great feeling to see it come to fruition.
But like that is the amount of emotion and emotional stakes that they are feeling, these like Jordan, Pippen, like Rodman, like all of these people are feeling, and it's interesting to see how everyone dealt with it. So Jordan's like, well, I'll take you on my back and I promise you, like, I'm going to do good by you. Right. And then Rodman's like, too much for me. I gotta go fuck around with a wrestler because I can't take this on.
And then go hang out with like the slimiest looking dudes in a bar and probably they paid for everything in Vegas.
Of course he did. And that's what makes me sad.
At that point too, wrestling was like at its peak, I would say, arguably for that generation. Like I think it petered and then it came back. But I mean, the NWO, that whole uprising that Hogan was the leader of, you know, the New World Order, and they were really fucking up shit in wrestling. And then there's cross pollination in sports, which
that was
never
the
really
upside
happened.
Down.
Yeah,
like, Hulk Hogan's the bad guy. This is like a Stranger Things episode.
When he turned heel?
Into the NWO.
Unbelievable.
Hollywood Hogan was great.
I just think like, you know, it was a really amazing series. It's just crazy to get a look into what that potentially was like. And like, I think we can all relate to that, you know, like when something like I remember the Raptors winning and just being like, you're just like, you come together. It's just like a reason to come together and celebrate. And whoa. And Pippen, you know, my boy, you know, now I've got a new lover thanks to the documentary.
I love how dedicated you are to Pippen now. Like I love it so much that you're just about this guy.
I mean,
fun.
One thing that I did miss is like there wasn't a lot of Ron Harper in this documentary, and Ron Harper is an amazing basketball player and was a big part of that team. And then the only thing they ever cut to him to was when he was an opponent, and he's like, "I should have taken that fucking assignment."
Oh, yeah.
Because if you again, like this goes to like the GOAT thing of like, who did Jordan have around him? There were definitely players at certain times, but I think he pushed them to that point, a lot of them. But it's like he won with like Judd Bushler and Bill Weddington and like just a list of names that you're like, okay.
Well, see, it's great that you bring that up. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up only because I had a discussion with my boys the other night. And we were talking about, well, if we want to see another documentary, because we know that they're going to come Fast and Furious now. Like we know things are going to happen.
Well, they already said, I think 30 for 30 is coming with Lance Armstrong and something else. But
I want to watch that one.
Yeah. But we were saying, I can't wait to be on for that. But when we were saying
the cowboy butt, is that what you were licking your lips on?
No, I think Lance Armstrong's probably a piece of shit, but I was like, we don't think they're taking steroids to get up that hill. We're shocked by it. We're shocked. Are you nuts? Everyone was. And the fact that they were like, gotta change my blood. I'm like, hey man, I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
The amazing things we see in sports on a daily basis. And Stacey goes, getting up that hill? Steroids.
Drugs for sure.
Oh, well, we know.
You think I'm riding my bike up to St. Clair? You crazy.
I'm juicing for sure, baby. I got to get home. No.
North of Bloor? Can't do it. Gotta take some drugs.
Me just drinking a Powerade. No, but obviously there's drugs. Like, I mean, you know, even baseball, we're like, can you believe he does 7 home runs? I'm like, yeah, he's on drugs. He's on the roids. Anyways, go on, Nigel.
So we were just kind of curious about which doc we'd see next. Would we want to see a Kobe story or a LeBron story, right? So I'm not saying that this has to be the next debate. All I'm saying is, to Jason's point, it's like, look at the people that LeBron had around him. A lot of them were just mediocre dudes at best who I don't want to hear from. Like on the Chicago team, I wanted to hear from some of these guys. But when you look at LeBron's teams, you're like, okay, sure, we'll get Wade, obviously, we'll get Bosh, but that was even later years. That was, so it's interesting. I definitely want to hear or see more.
Is that who you want to talk to?
Yeah, definitely.
I was watching some recaps, and there was this guy, and I'll send you it, Nigel and Jay, but I don't know who this guy is, but he was the most. But he said something that I thought was interesting, where he was like, he kind of was talking about these new documentaries that are going to want to come out. And he's like, I don't want to hear about those championship teams. The reason that this is so dynamic and so worth watching was it was just like this sensationalized team. It was like a group of characters, like the island of misfit toys. And like they came together, and he's like, it was special. Like, that's why it's interesting. Like going to watch like another championship team with just like who cares and whatever's, it's not going to be as dynamic. And I think it was a special time and a special place with like a collection of people. I think it's hard to, but we will
say maybe Golden State might be the best singular season team ever, but like I don't want to watch a documentary.
Yeah, who cares?
Golden State. But you know what I do? I think, Nigel, to your boys' conversation, I think the next one would, I imagine, be Kobe because of so many different.
I'm wondering if it would be Kobe, because it would be pretty controversial, wouldn't it?
Well, I think,
of course, the stuff's going to come up about like stuff outside of basketball, but also he said it recently came out that he had a film crew follow him around for his final season.
No, well, that'll be interesting.
So there'll be footage. But I'm like, someone said that to me, I was like, of course, we're in a day and age where every single one of these, like Judd Bushler would have footage at this point. Like, don't matter.
There's stuff everywhere.
I want to say this, just a couple things before we end. Well, one thing is,
hold on. Before you end, excuse me.
Please, of course. Please, of course.
I'm glad this is timed out perfectly, because I would hate to get to the end and Nigel goes, I've got 3 shirts left. God damn it.
God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. I want to talk about, what do we have here? Okay. Oh, here we go. Hold on. And
oh
no, Nigel, I've covered your screen. Hold on one sec. Go for it. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God. Heartbroken.
Stunning.
I mean, if we're going to talk about characters, cast of characters to end this thing, boom. Just want to let everybody know who is that.
Jason's going to be so mad.
I'm so broken. For 2 reasons. One, I had all the Bad Boys shirts of that at the time, and I can't find them anywhere. And I'm like, I would really love my childhood shirts of like Microwave and Rodman. And I even had but then 2, I moved away, and then Toronto won it. And it's heartbreaking when people bring it up and I see it. And like, this is just.
Yeah.
This whole podcast have just been slowly breaking Jason's heart. Changing into all these shirts.
100%. 100%. If you think this podcast is just about basketball, you're dead wrong. It's about
what
slowly.
What broke my heart the most was getting a text from Alistair Ford being like, I'm at the parade and I can only know Fred VanVleet. And I was like, what's happened to this world?
I'll never forget being at that hotel and just seeing all those men going up to party. It was beautiful. It was beautiful and wonderful. All those men, ?
We didn't talk about this part of the documentary because I was like, okay, you won it all. And like, let's think about our Second City opening nights and stuff like that. And it's like, you party with the cast, you have a great time. Michael Jordan is playing the piano with a bunch of hangers on in media. And you're like, what is happening here? Like, he's playing the piano.
It was embarrassing.
Also, how did we not talk about this revelation? And maybe it was just my revelation. Do you know Michael Jordan's best friend? They kept labeling him as best friend.
He looked like Corky.
George.
He looked like
Corky. But do you know who George was, I think?
Who?
And maybe you guys already know this and it's common. But he's the guy, the blonde-haired guy, the blonde mullet guy as a kid. Like, that's the one that looks, you're like, who's that guy every time when they show back?
Really?
I think that's him.
I don't
think so.
Well, they keep cutting back and they said that he met him because he was his driver and he was part of his entourage. But if you look in the entourage, that's him.
No, that was the security.
I don't think so.
I think we should look into this because I think there's a chance that
The mullet dude?
blonde-haired guy who's the most interesting looking man on the planet,
He was great.
is George.
I
don't think so.
Jordan's best friend looks like Christopher Guest in Waiting for Guffman. He looks like Corky. He has dyed little bangs. He looks like the back of Jason's head is that guy's front bangs.
Don't turn around. Don't you turn around.
Don't you dare turn around.
You son of a...
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Hey, do you guys want me to introduce you to Michael Jordan's best friend?
No, I don't need to. I don't need to marry.
Can you do it? Let's just see it.
It's like the lobster alien from Futurama.
It's so terrible. Jason, it's so bad. I hate it so much.
I gotta go join a cult.
I think you're already there. But a couple things.
But imagine like sitting at a bar, like just being at, whatever, a bar hop, and then this guy sitting beside you, that guy, and then you're like, you hear him talking, you're like, what's your story? He goes, I'm Michael Jordan's best friend. You'd be like, yeah, right.
I think Michael Jordan really, and also like the security man who like he took on as like a father figure was really sad too. Like his wife, and
like that stuff I didn't know as a basketball fan.
The saddest thing was, we're coming to the end here, when he won, and he was on the ground writhing, like crying, and the media. That was the most uncomfortable thing for me, where he was just like basically wailing on the floor, like just couldn't believe it. And the media was like, it's not. I was like, can you give him a break?
They were just showing that like on live TV.
Yeah.
Like, give him a break. Like, that's the thing. It's like, when they talk about doing another season, and like Jason said, like, the only thing I can relate to is when you decide whether to do another show or not. And it's like, if the right circumstances were there, you would. With your pals, but it's like that feeling of being replaceable. I don't know.
That was supposed to be the big reveal in this documentary, that Michael Jordan was like, I would have done another one.
I mean, but we all would have. It was like, but then they were like, oh, Pippen's old and this. I'm like, they just gave you something unbelievable. And everyone's like, they're done, they're toast. Like, Pippen was traded. Like, I mean, although Pippen was going into like an $80 million deal, wasn't he? It was something crazy.
Yeah, something wild, yeah.
Yeah, but Jordan was like, we would have got him back if he wanted to win a 7.
Oh,
so
he would have for sure.
But that also reminds me when he was playing the piano at the end, when he had all these like hanger-ons, and one guy goes, hey man, what about next year? And Michael goes, can we just enjoy the moment?
But I thought to myself, can you enjoy the moment?
You're already on to next year. I just won 6 Larry O'Brien's, and it's the night we're partying.
This is the problem, though. I think it's like he got tired of the media and the expectations and the questions, and it was not just about the game. Anyways.
That guy wasn't even media, and you could see it in his face, him walking himself back. He's like, I shouldn't have brought that up. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
let's party.
Oh, my mistake.
Take your shirt off.
Where's your friend with the bangs?
Let me play.
I would love to see I want to see a movie where Jason is the journalist who asks all the wrong questions, and they're like, here comes Ronnie. Jason's got to use 2 hands to hold the mic. You're right, guys. Today of the day, I'll ask the right questions.
What'd you have for breakfast?
Ronnie,
you seriously gonna ask me that?
I think we all want to know, because like, what did Michael Jordan eat for breakfast?
Listen, I didn't eat. I had an egg.
Did you get the picture I sent you?
No, Ronnie, can we have another question? I gotta go.
I framed the photo. It was a painting my child did. You get that, Michael?
Ronnie. That's great.
Do you know what though? Charlie now, because he watched a bit of this with us, because it was his way of sneaking out of bed in the night, and I was like, you can watch 5 minutes. But like now when he's playing, and it's just only started like yesterday, because my parents were on FaceTime with us, and he's like, I won, and he's like cheering, and then he was looking at me, and I'm like, what? He goes, put water on my head. I was like,
oh my God, he absorbs everything.
He wants champagne dumped on his head now when he wins a game.
Oh, we all do.
I like that guy a lot.
Me too. So just to end it, I want to say a couple of things. I thought what Phil did at the end when he was like, this is it, and we're going to write everything that this meant to you, and we're going to put this in a can, and we're going to burn it. I just thought that was so beautiful, and like,
well, he was the Zen master. That was his nickname.
I'm obsessed with him. I forget how tall he is. He's just a delicious treasure, and I like his voice a whole lot.
You know that if the Kobe documentary does come out, he will be a big part of
it's more him. Yeah, more him.
But I thought it was really beautiful, and I was like, oh, I need to like do that. Like just acknowledge like what certain points of your life. But you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, moving forward.
Stacey's standing in the middle of her living room with a can with a fire in it, and she just reads a note to herself and then lights it on fire and goes, "That's great."
I think it's nice. Yeah, I think it'll be a beautiful moment.
Yeah, Burger just looking at you like, the fuck's
he's like,
doing?
bitch, you didn't ask me to write anything. I got some words. But I just
Vic looks over from his typewriter with his glasses. Are we doing this already? Give me a second.
I haven't even looked at what you wrote, but I can tell it's not grammatically correct.
Sips on like writer's tears, just like.
Kids in their texts these days, they don't care about proper grammar.
But I just thought it was nice. But to end the pod, I would say in a Phil Jackson way, what would you write down to encapsulate your experience watching this documentary? And then we'll burn it, and the burning will be promoting Nigel and then ending the podcast.
Jay, you want to field this one first?
Yeah, Jay can go first because you're our guest, Nigel. Jason, go first, please.
Okay, great. I would just like to say I actually wrote a poem.
Okay, great.
For this.
Of course you did. I'd like to hear it, please.
And life's not about the times that we forget.
Jason, are you getting a phone call during this?
Yeah, you for sure getting a phone call.
He's getting a phone call.
Yeah, I heard that too. And I was like, what?
I am getting a phone call.
I know, I can hear it. Okay, start again, please.
Life's not about the times we forget. It's not about whether we gamble or we bet. It's about the friendships that we create in mending this quilt. And I'm better than Kareem, Oscar, and Wilt.
And Wilt. I knew he was going to say Wilt.
It's about dumping some champagne on each other's head.
You're losing us now.
Good night, Moon.
Okay,
night,
Jason, thank you. Okay, thank you, Jason.
Moon? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Jason refuses to be emotional at all costs. At all costs. Okay, Nigel, what would you like
Where's
to say?
Where's the fire?
Nigel, what would be your words?
Oh, my words are fuel yourself. Fuel yourself with that determination.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little bit better than you were yesterday because you can. You actually can. You don't have to be a champion now, but work towards being a champion later.
100%. That was stunning. You're going to want that playback. You're going to want that playback.
I think I might have to watch this pod again.
I think that's beautiful. I'll send it to you.
Yes, please do.
That was really stunning.
Mine rhymed.
Yeah, yours was garbage. It was junk.
Michael Jordan did a poem for his. So
yeah, and it made people cry.
Yeah, mine made people cry. Different reason, but made people cry.
You know, why don't you go to the WWE and get smacked down by Hulk? Okay.
Get out of here.
No, I think the thing that the main takeaway is what you just said, Nigel. It's like I think that Michael Jordan like wasn't just like perfect. He had to work at it and refine it, and also like I think insane confidence in yourself and focus can really take you to a really special place. And I think we deny all of our powers, like how powerful we are. 100%. But it takes constant work. I mean, oh my God, look at his work schedule from Space Jam. Like shooting, playing, changing his full body. Like it wasn't easy.
Building an arena and then inviting everybody to play 4-hour games.
And that was him. That was him though. Like that was the thing is it's not like people were telling him to do it. He was like, I want this to happen
100%.
and I will play right after being on set. We've all been on set before. We know how exhausted we are.
If you think LeBron James is doing that during his Space Jam times,
yes.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
I bet he is to recreate it. I bet he is.
And also calling players so
he looked up to Michael Jordan.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast, which I'm happy to moderate. Okay, so Nigel, we're gonna put up your little screen, and when I say little, I mean huge screen because you are so wonderful, and everyone should be following you. Hold on, let me put up your little screen here. So, Nigel, what would you say about yourself? Where can people find you?
Kids, check me out on IG, Nigel_Downer. or even on Twitter. I mean, I'm starting to use that a little bit more actively now, which is just at Nigel Downer. Also, check me out every Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, on a show called Helter Shelter. It's a Second City produced show. You got to register, which is super easy. So you can find us online. Either go to secondcity.com or Second City TO Instagram, whatever you want to do. We're out there. It's going to be super fun. And most recently, you can check the three of us out.
Hell yes.
On People, which is going to be a great and super fun variety show with a lot of people that you've seen and played with before, which is going to be on Fridays at 9, I believe. Is that correct?
Fridays at 9.
And wait, is
Eastern.
Eastern, yeah. And this Friday, 2 days from now, is show 1, yeah?
So we're doing People, which we're so excited about. We don't know what, we know what this week's show will be, but every week will be a different show. It'll be a different thing that we're trying out with like pre-tape sketches and live improv. And so, definitely come check that out. And Nigel, I will put all the Helter Skelter stuff down below so everyone can register for the show tomorrow.
Helter
Shelter.
Yeah, because I've said Skelter a bunch of times, but it's Shelter.
Please don't fire me, Second City. Please don't. I need this. Please put me in the show. I need this. So it was great. I watched your premiere show last week, and I will definitely be there this week in the chat, making myself available and promoting my own Instagram. Kidding. Yeah,
Hand up.
I forgot. I'm going to be in a production, a 15 to 20 minute production that's put on by Factory Theater. That's written by the amazing, illustrious, infamous Kat Sandler. Woo! It's a play. It's called The Coalition. It's on, I believe, Friday I think it's at 5 or 6. You'll have to look, but either Google Factory Theater or The Coalition, or just look on my Instagram. And it's going to be a whole play just through Zoom with 3 amazing characters, Michael Musi and Paloma Nunez, who's amazing. And it's going to be great. So check that out.
There's so much. We'll put it all down below. And people are asking about the Barbara of Somewhereville. We definitely will be bringing that to you as a special regulars performance. And I would love to invite Nigel to play a character in that. I think it'll just be an improv show where we mess with Jason for an hour. But yeah, you're so busy. I'm so thankful you came on to talk about this. We'll have to talk about it more. And
Thanks for having me, kids.
Oh, of course. I can't wait for Lance Armstrong to get his tight little bicycle ass into a dock so we can.
They're doing 3 of them. It's him, Bruce Lee, and I can't remember one other.
Okay, well, Lance, so can't wait. Everyone follow Nigel. Thank you everyone so much for listening to us. We'll be back tomorrow. Jason, do you have anything to say?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.